Maybe the way Arsenal play, maybe it could be 5, 6 or 7. Arsenal going for the title, United going for pride. Going for pride, that's all it is at the moment.
Has got it left?
Probably not. You know, when you see United's starting 11 that has Johnny Evans in it, you know, and this is no digging at Johnny Evans, but Johnny Evans could barely run for Leicester last season. Like, his legs were that gone, and all of a sudden he's starting as centre-back alongside Casemiro.
He'll probably get another year as well.
He probably will, knowing them. But look, a disastrous performance from United. I mean, sometimes what I hate that we do, and we're going to do it, is we like to say disastrous from United rather than giving Crystal Palace some plaudits. Elise Fantastic Mateta, who, by the way, got 2 goals last season, is already on 12 this season for the league, 15 in all competitions. He's someone that a lot of the big teams might take a look at, by the way, because he has that kind of, almost reminds me a bit of Benteke at Aston Villa.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Is that, yeah?
Exactly what I was thinking.
He's got that bit about him, hasn't he? That kind of pace, that strength, the size, everything, the structure. But let's focus on United. I mean, you heard some of the clips there, everyone saying, worst United performance in years, you know, Ten Hag will go. Let's start with the worst performance in years thing. Obviously, there's been so many for United, so it probably wasn't the worst. But in terms of recent memory, because it is Crystal Palace and it's not Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, whatever, it looks even worse, doesn't it?
I've seen them putting in some rank performances this season and come out with 3 points.
Yeah, against you boys.
Against us twice. Yeah. They are the most bizarre team I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how even they are 8th. You know, they've not been stuck in 6th for weeks. Yeah. I think, how are they 6th? They are just awful. I don't see anything from them. I don't know what they are in any way as a football team, what direction they're going in, what their tactical plan is, what their kind of style is defensively, what it is going forward. They're just a big mishmash of nothing, just a collection of players that are thrown together on a weekend or a midweek game. They're just thrown together. That looks like names have been picked out of a hat.
Yeah, you're right, actually. It almost reminds me of, like, sometimes when Klopp does this, when he kind of puts these players together for League Cup games, you're like, these players have never played with each other. And I look at some of the players, I mean, like Christian Eriksen with Kobbie Mainoo, that's basically trying to tell Kobbie, you're going to run for me because I have no legs left in Eriksen. I mean, Wan-Bissaka playing left-back, just what's going on? Casemiro, as much as Casemiro, and I know Carragher absolutely destroyed him, and rightly so, he's not a centre-back. Casemiro's like, what am I doing here? Like, I can't even play centre midfield. You're trying to play me centre-back with Johnny Evans, who can't run. Mason Mount's been a disaster. Anthony's the worst signing in the history of Premier League football. Yep. And Højlund's just... Højlund.
Yeah, he had Højlund basically this season.
Remember he had that run of like 4 games. Everyone's like, he's Højlund.
That's it. That's all it's been.
That's all it's been from Højlund all season. He's got away with it. But he's getting away with it because he's young and he's just moved to the country. The fact is, you cost 60 million. You're United's number 9. You need to deliver. People can't keep making excuses for these players. They're making excuses for him. Even Garnacho, like
he's one I do feel sorry.
No, he gets a lot of plaudits, Garnacho, a lot, and rightly so. But his goal scoring record's not good either. Like, his goals to assist ain't great.
You can see he's trying, can't you?
He is giving.
He always works hard. He always tries to make something happen, but just doesn't got the talent around him. Really, Garnacho. I actually feel sorry for him. I just think it's just a mess, isn't it? You know, when I was younger, I can't say I liked Manchester United, but I respected them.
Of course.
I've got no respect for them as a football team now.
Oh yeah, you're never going to go Old Trafford and win. You used to always, Fergie time was a thing. I mean, you could be 3-0 up at United with 10 minutes to go and you're not safe. You're thinking something's going to happen. With this team, you just know it's not. And it kind of seeps down from the manager. The manager just looks like he's lost for ideas. He says things that are just so irrational and, like, you can't be telling the truth. You know, I almost feel sorry for him because I think he'd done such a good job. Well, such a good job is a bit of exaggeration, but I thought he'd done a good job last season.
Yeah, he did.
There's a lot of problems. Won a trophy. Got to Champions League football. Look, he could win a trophy again this season, but it's just, you almost know it's over. It's over, and it's kind of, it's just flat now, isn't it? Like, it's over. He's to blame. The board's to blame. The players are to blame. But ultimately, he's going to get the sack.
They're just pinning all their hopes now on winning the FA Cup. But I'm not sure they can do that.
Of course,
I'm sure they can live with the City side at Wembley. They couldn't last season. I know they only lost by 1 goal. Was it last season in the cup final? But they're a decent team last season.
But then we saw what they did against Liverpool. I know that was that Old Trafford.
It's a crazy game. That suits them, though, when the game's like that, doesn't it? It just suits them when it's a pinball game. That's because they've got no structure themselves. If they turn the game into chaos and the other team ends up having no structure, it suits Manchester United because they're more adept at that because it's what they do every single week. They won't beat City. Not at Wembley in a cup final.
No chance.
City could roll out their kids and they'd beat them.
Yeah, and City will probably roll out a couple of kids. All right, let's hear from Man United manager Erik ten Hag, who says, look, we will keep fighting after watching his team fall to a 4-0 defeat against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. It leaves them 8th in the table outside of the European qualification places with just 3 matches now remaining. He spoke with Adrian Durham after the defeat last night.
Erik, thanks for talking to talkSPORT. Why did that go so badly wrong tonight?
It's clear. It's underperforming. Worst performance or worst defeat.
How do you go about putting it right?
Yeah, we have to step up, and we have to step up with the players who are available, and we have to do better. And that is that players take responsibility, but also then as a team follow more the rules we have. Because the goals were really easy giveaways, and then you make yourself it very difficult.
When you see the mistakes that were made by Casemiro for the first, Evans for the second, these are senior players. How worried are you that players aren't listening to what you're saying?
I'm not 100% agreeing with your assessment about the first goal. I think that is really a team mistake. So they didn't follow the instructions how we have to set up when they have a throw-in, and there were made many mistakes on that occasion, and that's why we concede goal. And as I say, you can point to 1 or 2 players and maybe even more, but by the end of the day it was a worse team performance, and I think all the players were underperforming, not only 1 or 2.
You're talking about the worst team performance and the players. What responsibility do you have?
Yeah, that is my responsibility to. So I have to take this responsibility that the team was not playing like I expect them to play.
Do you worry about your future?
I don't think about this. I know I have to prepare the team as good as possible. I can't think about this. We have huge problems. Everyone can see this. So if I worry about my future, it's not about me. It's about the team and it's about the club. And you see, the fans are backing us. So they deserve a team who is eager and who has the right team spirit.
This is my point about when I say he's deluded. Adrian Durham there speaking to Erik ten Hag. The fans are backing us.
Well, they were just singing
what
at the end.
What fans is he referring to? Yeah, they were singing because they were cold, and all they could do to keep their spirits up was singing. The fans clearly aren't backing this United squad. The fans are livid with this United squad, and I know what he's trying to do, because ultimately it's the fans that I think will make the decision when it comes to someone losing their job or not. Once the fans want you out, the board don't really have a choice. So he's almost trying to get the fans on his side. It's not going to work though. I feel like the fans have just had enough, and it isn't necessarily with him. The fans have had enough of the players, but again, the buck stops with the manager.
I think they've had enough of the club, haven't they, in general? But luckily for them, they've got this Ineos stuff. We're going to see what they're all about in the summer for the first time, really. And I think Manchester United fans, that's the only thing now that they've got left to hold on to, is that can Ineos come in and just do a complete sweep of this club and turn them into something anywhere near what they used to be under Alex Ferguson, because they couldn't be any further away at the moment. I mean, you just called Ten Hag deluded. How many times can you say we're still fighting and then send a team out that doesn't fight?
Yeah, and by the way, it's his team. Looking at that 11, 9 of the players were either signed by him or bought through the academy. So you normally look at a side like, these are not my players. I think Poch does that a bit sometimes. It's like, no, these are all Ten Hag's players. Like, these are his players. So there's no excuse for it. Do you know what I mean? He can't say, not really my player, give me money in the summer. No. They gave you money in the summer and you decided to spend it on that. So what other excuse have you got, sir?
I feel sorry for him a bit at the moment in the term. Not feel sorry is not the right phrase, but he's having to wheel out the play. He can only wheel out what he's got at the moment. Yeah. There isn't any options to change it or freshen it up. And as much as I don't like him, Bruno Fernandes was obviously missing last night. Who's a big player for them. Mount hasn't played all season. You know who was missing?
Who the United fans laughed a lot at? Who would run around that pitch, cover every single blade? Fred. United fans would absolutely love it. They used to destroy him. Remember that McTominay Fred thing that United fans were kind of just like, this is a disgrace. McFred, I think they called it.
Yeah.
Give them McTominay and Fred in that midfield now instead of what they have.
They'd finish higher. They'd actually finish higher with that midfield.
Run around the pitch.
Genuinely, if those two had been playing the whole season in midfield, they'd genuinely be higher than they are now.
There you go. Palace, though, sensational. Obviously, Elise is going to grab the headlines because of those 2 goals. I mean, the first one, mate. When he flows, it reminds me a bit of who was that at Spurs that used to do that? Just kind of just flow for Spurs. It's gonna go.
Dembele.
Dembele for Spurs. Because when he just gets the ball, it looks like he's not moving, Elise, but he's actually going some. I think he's a fantastic player. And he's been capped by France under 21. Nothing for the senior squad, and I'm wondering if
get him there,
get him
around. He must not want to play for England.
It must be that, isn't it?
He must want to play for France.
It must be. It must be that.
Yeah, he is a sensation. Injuries are obviously a bit of a concern.
That's the concern.
That might be what stops him going to a top team, but he is an incredible footballer. You know, like those, not a paper aeroplane. You know, like those the planes that you build yourself. I don't know what they're made out of, but you build them yourself and you throw them and they just glide.
Okay,
he's one of them. He's not a paper aeroplane. He's not a proper aeroplane. Yeah, he's a polystyrene aeroplane. Somewhere in the middle of a paper aeroplane and a proper plane.
Bardell calls at least say polystyrene aeroplane.
It's terrible. It's terrible punditry and terrible analysis from me. I've not been able to stop thinking about it since you said he glides.
No, but he's so good. I mean, Eze's fantastic. Mateta's fantastic. Gay's fantastic. Tariq Mitchell at the back. They've got a lot. I just wonder how many of those they can keep for next season. I think that's the biggest problem.
Well, we had a Palace fan on. You were obviously on your holidays or working or whatever. So me and Darren Ambrose did the show last week. We had a Palace fan on.
Yeah.
And we were saying that Glasner, the manager, the way he's just come in and made everyone that was there better straight away.
Immediately, innit?
Reminds me a little bit of when Emery came in at Villa.
Straight away.
Just bang, straight away. You could see this was a completely different team, that they were going places. This manager looks the real deal, doesn't he? And I think, what he's got out of those players already. They're playing with a freedom and a confidence. Maybe, in fairness, this time last year they were doing that under Hodgson, weren't they? Because they know they're safe. They're not really playing for anything, so maybe you can play with that freedom. But I just think they were so poor before he came in. I just think I think they might be able to keep hold of their players.
Mate, it's kind of what I said about Mateta, and that's almost a microcosm of where they were last season and now. Mateta had 2 goals in the league. 29 starts, only 2 goals. All of a sudden, you take the shackles off him and let him play a bit, and it's now 12 goals. And I'm not trying to 12 is incredible, but for a Crystal Palace striker, 12 is actually a pretty good number.
He's only 26 as well. I've got to say, I thought he was older than that, Mateta.
I think if they can keep hold of a few and add to it, I think they'll be, I don't know, 13th again.
Now, where do you think?
30th again.
Where do you think Elise and Eze would go? Me and Darren had this discussion last week. What's their level? What's their level? Do you think?
Champions League footballer.
Both of them.
I really do think. I think Elise could go anywhere, honestly, and I hope he does. What I don't want him to do is
go to Manchester United.
A bit like that, a bit like Zaha did, and then you come back, it doesn't work out, and then Zaha could have been a top 6 player, and then he just didn't, was he? And now he's obviously in Turkey. So I think both of them. I'd love Elise at Liverpool. I'd love Eberechi Eze to go Villa type. I think he'll be good at Villa.
Oh, do you think Eze could play for Arsenal on the left? Think he could get into their team, play there? I don't think they'd sign him, but do you think he's good enough to play there?
Yeah, no one's nailed it down. I mean, I know Martinelli and Trossard have been vying for it. Yeah, Emil Smith's going to go.
Yeah.
So maybe a bit of a little Emil Smith swap plus some money, maybe.
I thought Smith Rowe might end up at Villa in the summer, actually.
You want everyone. How many do you want?
Oh, I don't want everyone.
You said you want Elise, you want Eze, you want Smith Rowe.
I don't think we'll get either of those players, though.
No.
I don't think we get. I think Eze might go.
You can have Darwin Nunez for Ollie Watkins.
No, we'll be all right, thanks.
No, okay.
I think Eze might go to Man City.
Hey, very quickly, what do you make of Darwin Nunez deleting all his Liverpool posts on his Instagram?
Oh, has that happened?
Yeah.
Why do players do that?
Don't know.
I've left companies before. I didn't just decide to delete them from my existence on social media when I left.
Slightly different.
He will play for Liverpool at the weekend. On Monday, whether he comes on or whether he starts. Yeah. What would you do?
Sulking.
John Duran's done that for Villa a few times this season. I don't get it.
Yeah,
he's gnaws off.
All of these, and he's always got his Uruguay basically on his page now.
Where's he going to go?
Anyway,
we're talking about the 2 Crystal Palace players going to the Champions League club.
No, he's the opposite. He's the opposite.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.